Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. And first, we're going to... we're reading tea leaves, I promise. But first, we're going to start with a tarot card. I like to pull one just to kind of see what is our energy. We have the Four of Swords. So we're coming into a place where things are maybe not going to be sorted out indefinitely, but at least for this period of time, we will come into kind of a understanding and ease, right? It might not be completely done, to completion and getting to that closure, but you're willing to accept what it is for right now. Okay. So that's, listen, sometimes that's the best we can ask for, right? So when we get a card like this, and it's setting up the energy of whatever's going on in your life, I would say that not a bad one. Not a bad one. It could be much more turmoil, So I want to say thank you for clicking on the reading. Thank you for being here. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I don't know. We need each other, I think. I need you guys anyways. The world feels uncertain, but there is a sense of, it's not certainty, but a sense of home, a little piece of home in our fellowship and our connections with one another. And I hope sometimes I provide a little bit of peace for people, or ease, or at least the potential of, because you know what? You guys offer that to me constantly, and I appreciate you. So let's get going. We start here. I'm going to pull this out. I'm looking at this face. We have, and this is the eye. Here's an eye as well. The nose, and then a mouth, and almost kind of, I imagine, like the neck, right? Kind of the contouring of the neck. We have what looks like a tear, okay? And in this eye over here, it looks like the front of a train. Like if you could imagine an old steam engine heading right towards your perspective, this would be it. Okay, so one eye, and that would be their right eye. We're seeing it on the left, so it would be their right eye. And I know, I'm realizing this maybe was out of focus a little bit here. Let's go right there, right there. Now, we also have the hourglass, time, okay? This feels sorrowful, I have to say. It feels like grief. It feels like, suddenly becoming acutely aware of mortality, of change, of being a human in a human body, I don't know, existential possibly, but it feels like there's just this really intense, like, okay, the breath has been knocked out of me, and here I am. I'm fully awake. My eyes are open. There is clarity here, and it is a pain that has just almost like, this shimmering of, well, if you've ever been in an ice storm, or the next day, or up in the snow somewhere, up in the mountains, gone skiing or something, the trees when they blow in the wind and there's ice or there's, some amount of snow on them, they make this like, it's like a chandelier knocking together all the little pieces, right? And it's a beautiful kind of fanning sound. Go look it up. It's beautiful. It is. It's a magical feeling to go out walking after an ice storm. Now be careful. But the sound, I don't know how, if you haven't heard it, you go listen on the YouTubes here, go look it up. But there's just this feeling of this like almost like shimmering pain, if that makes sense. It's like the tremors, right? The tremors of an older grief. I don't think this is right now. I don't think that there's something happening in this moment where it's like, okay, suddenly, you become aware of your health, or somebody close to you that's maybe in the same age range or something, passes on, or something like this, where it just all of a sudden, whew, I'm awake. But you're in a position now where I can feel there are still these, the residue, the tremoring, contractions of sadness, grief, the losing of some aspect of how you knew the world, right? How you knew yourself, how you knew your connections to people, your family. And so in this shift, I feel, you've been through it. This is like one of those big things in your life. We all have them. We have those big moments where it's like, okay, I'm in this thing, I'm in this moment, and I can tell you, without a doubt, my life is changing forever right now. And you've been struggling with this. I feel that you've been struggling with it. Now, you are a Cancer, and I'm not going to say that you keep everything in, but it is my inclination, from what I'm feeling here, that you have gone out of your way to not hide this. It's not that you're hiding it, but you do not like to inconvenience people or affect people or change people's opinion of you based on your emotional output. You're very private about your feelings, the deep feelings. Now, I'm not saying the little inconveniences. I'm talking about those deep things. So, I want to kind of pull this. We're going to move it this way, okay? We have a person standing here. Here's the head. Okay, here's the body. Okay, holding, and it looks to me, it looks like the mound, it looks like the egg. We have another person who is holding on to it, like a shared burden of weight. Okay, down in here, it looks like we probably have the pelican, or not the pelican, excuse me, the goose. We have the goose. We have this like interior thing right here. Look at this. And it looks like right in the middle. It even just the way that it happened to lay here, it looks all inlaid with the little gold leaf. And then there's a candle. Okay, so the candle almost always represents an illumination, a revelation, a understanding. Suddenly I am receiving this information from the universe. I am computing, and here I am beneath my understanding, right? Looking up, really standing strong in my ability to really perceive what is happening. Okay. So, to say that more simply is like, you trust yourself. You see what's up. You know what's happening. You might be conditioned to say, hey, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I read this wrong. Maybe I don't understand the context. Maybe this is normal, but not where I come from. We go through all these things, right? But you see it for what it is. You have eyes to see. Dude, if I really want, I'm going to go to all the signs for different reasons, right? I need different advices on different things. If I want to cut and dry what it is, I'm going to a Cancer, because you all are like the owls, the beloved seers, right? The watchers. You might not be out here like letting everybody know that you know what's up. Like you don't have to let them know that you peep game on them, right? But you see. You see what it is, and you have that info. You're the intel person. I mean, that's what it is. You're the intel person. And now it might take a little finessing to get it out of you, but that's who I'm going to, right? So I feel like for you, there is this just real, it's like you have these cycles of, and we all do, right? Of feeling very confident, and then maybe things kind of start to, waver, or you're not exactly on point with what your goal is or what you're trying to accomplish, or, whatever. And you start to waver a little bit, and, maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I need to adjust. Maybe, I should do some research and figure out, like, maybe if I just, tinker with this or that or whatever. That's what you're about, the fine tuning of things, right? And sometimes it can just really get to a point where it's rumination, it's fixation, it's obsession, not the fun kind. I'm working on this so much, it starts to get bad. And you're like, all right, I'm just going to do listen, what I think about when I'm saying this is, now, if you've ever seen a picture of me, I have bangs, right? I've had bangs since I was like 4, okay? I didn't just get into rockabilly and cut my bangs, guys. I've had them since, I was cursed with them. There was a hex laid upon my head, and I've had bangs forever. So anyways, if you know anything about straight bangs or cutting bangs, and we all know about the memes and the stereotypes of sensitive girls cutting their bangs, right? Which is 100% true. I'm not gonna say it's not true. But so you get to going on doing your bangs, and like, okay, I'm just gonna trim them tiny bit, because I'm gonna have to keep trimming it to get it lined up right. And as anybody's hair does, it lays differently, so sometimes it's a little off, and you're trimming. Basically what happens is you end up with no, like the tiniest little bangs, right? Micro bangs. Not on purpose, but because you just keep doing it, and they still look bad. They're still uneven, dude. They're always uneven. Always. I mean, I don't know about yours. If you have them, they're probably perfect. Mine always to a side. And I'm like, yeah, that's, David Bowie. I like David Bowie. No, it's just because they're always slanted. This is the energy. Dude. You guys get into that place, right? Well, you're in the flow state, and you get into that like desperate, like, I'm trying to do this, and it's like the super glue's getting everywhere, and you're getting stuck to everything, and it's like, you know? And yeah, that's the vibe. So don't do that. Don't do that because you're in a place where you're trusting yourself. Do the least that you have to. Okay? Lay your effect on anything as minimally as you possibly can. That's my what is the word? Not motto in life, but my thinking, my belief, my tenet, the ultimate tenet. Do as little as you can. No. Try to, start slow, very little, add as you go if you need to, right? So we also have, okay, so holding the mound with the egg. Now this is and then we had, we still had it as the eyes earlier, right? And we had that snake. It's still the snake as we're looking at it differently as this person standing here, okay? So we have the mound, we have the egg, we have the snake, we have a beautiful cosmology really, really starting to, rise here, come together. Now, of course, the egg is beginning, right? Birth, right? The mound is the primordial island or prima materia, the original material of all things, right? The unformed clay for which all things are built. So then we have the egg sitting upon this, mound of potentiality. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm, potential in all directions. So we have these two things together. Beautiful energy, right? And then we have the snake. Bro, the snake, adding that knowledge on top of it, the ability to get the material. You have basically the start, let's get it going. The ignition of the thing. And then you have the snake, which is the data, the know-how, right? The technique, the skill set, right? The modality, whatever it is. So here we are in this beginning, which makes sense. All of this makes sense to me because we're dealing with this profound situation that has happened in your life, right? It made you very aware of your age, and how life just kind of slips through our fingers quicker than you can even imagine. And so what do? Right? You get to work. You're a Cancer. That's what you do. You get in that chariot and you get rolling, dude. So here we go. Now, it looks like we have two people here. And in the middle, it looks like we have the flag right here. We have this person over here who looks a little rotund. Symbolically, it really reminds me of the bourgeoisie, something like that. So there's a feeling of surrender, compromise to some degree, right? To remember to temper yourself, remember your stealth, remember that not everybody needs to know how you feel about everything. You might do well to invoke that fool a little bit and, kind of put up your stealth, right? Because who cares what the fool has to say? Who cares what the fool thinks? Who cares what the fool's doing? Right? So then we move between and we make alliances, right? As they fit the journey that we're on, as we find necessity. And so I do. I feel like you are in a place where you are making bonds, right? Networking, even in places that you don't necessarily believe what they believe, or have the same interests as these, whoever it is or whatever it is. Like if it's an institute, if it's a new job, and the culture of it isn't really like your jam, but you're willing to, like, just kind of look past it and do the work and make the money and all that kind of thing. Which is, listen, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cynical person, but I feel like that's most of life. I've never felt comfortable anywhere I've been besides my own home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how much I feel like I relate to a person. We will have many things that we don't agree on, or that I find reprehensible, or vice versa, right? But I don't need to know that stuff. Not necessarily, right? And so I do. I feel like you are in this place where you are not letting your kind of, it's not even you, it's the conditioning, the divisive nature of reality in this moment, right? You're not letting it mess with how you move, because as most of us who are over the age of 35, 40 years old know that the world changes constantly and swiftly, right? Things come in and out of fashion by the day here. Sometimes by, the afternoon when people are coming back from work, the whole, from lunch or whatever they do, the whole thing has changed. We're all, on a different side now, or we all feel differently about this thing now, So I feel like for you, you are somebody who keeps your head on straight enough to remember, I can navigate this. And not only can I navigate it, I can navigate it in a way that benefits me ultimately. And you know what? That's good for you. Good for you. I'm trying. I would say game recognized game, but I'm still working on it. I don't have the self-control that a Cancer has. Not all the time anyways. So here's the deal as well. We have the number 71. I feel that you're going to have an encounter with somebody who, I feel like, I want to say they mentored you, they taught you. But I feel like it's not like a bad thing, but it's not like a teacher, like at your, at your college, or a professor at your college, where you're like, okay, I went and learned from this person. They taught me, something, that, listen, I feel like, well, how am I trying to say this? I feel like this is somebody who, like, I don't know, maybe like an older friend, an older sibling, maybe an auntie or something. Now, they taught you how to survive, okay? I'm not saying that they taught you how to hustle, but it might be that they taught you how to hustle. It feels not unethical. I keep thinking this isn't like unethical, but it feels like it's like something where they just kept it real with you. Honestly, I think that's what it is. It's like this person gave you an honest, like, view of what life might be like as you get older. And so when you got out in the world, you were able to rely on this person. And I don't think it was your parents. Okay, now your parents set you up with a different set of values and skills and stuff. But this person taught you how to do stuff that like you wouldn't usually know who to ask about. Okay. You know, or there are things, and it's not gender specific, but I'm a woman. I have experienced life as a woman. So there are things that, like, especially like in my age group and older, you know, Gen X and I'm an older millennial technically, I guess, but I'm kind of on the cusp of Gen X. We weren't always like in households and stuff where we could go ask somebody to come help us or figure out how to, you know, do something, see somebody, get medicine that we might need, or, you know, things that we might need without an embarrassment, or, you know, maybe the household was, you know, very strict, or whatever the deal was. Your parents were absent from your life. That was my problem, you know. So you find people in your life that will tell you what it is and how to do the thing, even though it's like a hush-hush kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be kind of veiled here. You could apply it to a lot of different avenues of life. But I feel like this person must have transitioned, because I really feel like they're trying to get a hold of you. And I keep looking at this. It looks like it says JHV or JHY. And for some reason, I keep seeing, as I'm trying to look at this person, I keep seeing that there's like this real interest in like Egyptian, like the mask, that the sarcophagus mask of King Tut kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like super specific reliefs or anything, but showing me, which is funny because yesterday I was making I was developing my own little mudra for set. And actually it's an inverted mudra, so it's pretty cool. But anyways, I feel like this person was into Egypt in some fashion. Like, maybe they had stuff like, you know, like National Geographic stacked to the wall, like up to the ceiling or something, you know, kind of into other things. Like, I guess for the norm, right? Maybe things that seemed different to you because they weren't in your household. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would go to their house and it was like, whoa, this place is kind of, you know, cool, weird. It feels like a museum or something. But they're trying to get a hold of you. They're not telling me what it is. But they show up here in this magi with the, can we see it? Yeah, with the arm raised like a wand. And that goose. Now it kind of, I wonder, we have that, I think it must be somebody on your mother's side. I almost wonder if your mother was like overly critical. Like, always just shutting down anything you wanted to do or whatever you were into, or, you know, just kind of feeling like, well, when you grow up and know about life, right, you won't believe. Just that kind of like dismissive. That's what it feels like. Now, I can see this person behind that wall of kind of honking, right? And this is where you would find refuge and feel like when you were feeling the things you were feeling and wanting to do the things you wanted to do and needed help and guidance and stuff, and you felt like you were crazy and different and nobody else in the world probably ever felt the way that you do, this was the person that you could go to beyond, the hysteria of your parents, right? And that's why I feel like it's like it gave you just that enough freedom of mind, right? To get you through the door. And it makes me feel happy just thinking about that. I hope that I will be that person for many people in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. I always feel so privileged when, especially like young adults and the kids in my life come to me for some kind of, help or guidance or whatever. That always, I don't know, makes me a little teary-eyed. All right, let's see. It looks like we have a guy. It says guy. This guy. There's a guy. I feel like there's a conflict maybe with I don't think it's a neighbor, but maybe like somebody you work with. We have WA. I almost feel like it's somebody that's just always like complaining, like, well, she didn't have to do, and it's like, dude, how old are you? Complainer, you have a complainer, but not directly to you. That's the thing. I see these like faced away. Kneeling faced away. I do feel like this is somebody who they're really watching everything you're doing, but you are also a watcher, so you're watching what they're doing. And ultimately, it feels like this is really going to end up benefiting you. I think that this will benefit you. And we have the eye with the snake kind of coming out of it. Look at it. It's like the eye and the snake. We have the ibis. We have, it looks like maybe Sekhmet. We have a fierce protective energy here. Okay, we also have the science, the logically minded, but also the magician. We have the eye, we have the snake of knowledge. And so we have the ability to temper ourselves, to move precisely. I feel that we also have the frog or the toad over here. A sense of really, in this sector, and this is definitely within the work sector, tightening it up, doing a little bit more security, probably. Even if it's like actual, like changing passwords, if you own like a building and you have a business or something like that, or you're renting, or, maybe you share space where you're working with other people, just tighten up your own personal security and for the business. But the biggest thing is continuing to acquire the information, right? And not being reactive. And that's like the big Zen feeling we have going here. Okay. I'm interested about this person who is trying to get you to pay attention. I don't know what their message is, but it feels like a loving one. I don't think it's like, some scary prophecy. I feel like it's more along the lines of, of a loving kind of support energy. Definitely coming with like a really like almost like a peach aura, peach colored aura. 39, and that's our first lucky number. 39, number 30, '85. All right, 39, 30, and 85 for our lucky numbers. Okay, Cancer, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk soon. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Make good choices. Be selfish. Take care of yourself. I love you.